Have you ever wondered why some people knowingly walk into the grips of an unhealthy relationship? Picture this. A young woman, let's call her Jane, meets a charming man at a local cafe. He's charismatic, attentive, and exudes an air of self-assuredness that Jane finds irresistible. From the outside looking in, the man's charm is almost intoxicating. Yet, Jane is no stranger to the whispers of caution echoing in the back of her mind. She sees the red flags, the subtle manipulations, the veiled criticisms, the occasional outburst of temper. But instead of heeding these warning signs, Jane is drawn deeper into the web of allure. She willingly steps into the arena, ignoring the glaring signs of danger. She's entranced by the charm, the attention, the feeling of being wanted. It's a seductive dance, a magnetic pull that she can't resist. As strange as it seems, this isn't an uncommon scenario. But why does this happen? The answer may not be as simple as you think. Often, the beginning of such relationships is a dance of denial. Picture this: two people entwined in an intricate waltz. The music, a symphony of sweet nothings and promises of tomorrow. Yet, beneath the melody, there's a discordant undertone, the faint warning bells that something is amiss. In the early stages, these signs are easy to miss, or perhaps easier to ignore. The occasional harsh word, the subtle manipulations, the constant need for control, they all masquerade as minor issues, mere hiccups in a grand love story. People convince themselves that they can handle it all. They cloak these red flags in a shroud of excuses and justifications. They believe they can change the other person, or that these issues will magically disappear over time. This, my friends, is the dance of denial, a dangerous tango between hope and reality. But the question remains, why do they choose to ignore the signs and continue with the dance? Perhaps it's the invisible chains that bind them. Imagine emotional dependencies, insecurities, and past traumas as unseen shackles, binding individuals to unhealthy relationships. These chains are often forged in the fires of our past experiences, and they can weigh heavily on our hearts, shaping our decisions and perceptions. Let's consider a tale of a young woman scarred by her parents' tumultuous marriage. She grows up associating love with chaos and emotional turmoil. As she enters adulthood, she unknowingly seeks out the familiar chaos of her past, forming relationships that echo the unhappiness she once knew. Or picture a man battling insecurities, who clings to a relationship that erodes his self-esteem, simply because he fears loneliness more than he fears emotional harm. These invisible chains bind him, making it challenging to break free. These invisible chains can be incredibly strong, but they're not the only reason people fall into the trap of unhealthy relationships. So, what's at the heart of the matter, you might ask? The answer, dear friends, is not as complex as one might think. It all boils down to two fundamental elements: self-love and self-respect. You see, these two intrinsic qualities greatly influence our choices in life, including the relationships we choose to engage in. When we lack self-love, we may tend to settle for less than we deserve. We may find ourselves in relationships that are unfulfilling, even damaging, simply because we do not believe we are worthy of anything better. Similarly, without self-respect, we may allow others to treat us poorly, to cross our boundaries without consequence. We may find ourselves in toxic relationships, enduring behaviors that we would never accept from a stranger, let alone a loved one. The journey to healthier relationships begins with self-love and self-respect. So, remember to always prioritize yourself. Subscribe for more content